We are 90.7 FM. We are WTCC here in Springfield, Massachusetts. You are hearing sounds of Darryl Yokley's sound reformation off of his project Un Mundo en Soledad. Joining us this morning on Friday Mid-Morning Jazz is saxophonist, composer, and educator Darryl Yokley. I was recently introduced to his music ahead of his performance tonight at Jazz Club Scullers in Boston, and I've enjoyed listening to the sound reformation and the artistic approach. And we're super excited to have with us this morning to talk about the music and the experience within the sound and what we can expect tonight from tonight's show. So Darryl, welcome to Mid-Morning Jazz. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for taking some time out of your day. I know you're traveling, so just want to inform people of your show tonight at Scullers and how they can get tickets, a little bit about you. This is normally a contemporary jazz show, but I've kind of taken over with my father, Don Felton, and I'm expanding what he has built over the last 40 years. So first, just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you started in classical sax and how you transformed into a jazz musician.
Yeah, I met my teacher who I studied with, his whole, I met him in high school, and once I heard him, I was like, that's what I want to do for a living. Because there's something about the sound of the repertoire of a classical saxophone and it really captivated me. So I did that. When I went to college, I met a classmate of mine who's still a good friend of mine, Chris Hemingway, and I thought he was doing classical and jazz. So I was like, well, maybe I could do that. So I did do jazz a little bit in undergrad and grad school for a while, but it was always in the back, on the back burner or on the side, just because I was so busy trying to learn concertos and sonatas and all that stuff in A2. But then once I got out of school, I realized that classical saxophone is not the biggest commodity, So I was like, I need to eat. So, I started learning tunes and sitting at the jam sessions more, and then I was fortunate enough to start touring with the Four Top Sensations and the OJs once I got out of grad school. So that was, some training right there on the job.
Absolutely. I can only imagine.
And then from there, it just took off, yeah.
That's amazing. I was listening to your latest project, Un Mundo en Soledad, and which translates to 100 Years of Solitude. And I was really just intrigued and inspired how you were inspired. You were telling me a little bit about it, and when you first talk about when you first read the book and how that inspired you to create a project based on the book.
Yeah, I read the book the first time in high school. I had a great English teacher, Dr. John Kaiser, who had a theater summer reading list, and I read the book. And he recommended a lot of great books, but that one really stuck out to me. Even at when I was 16 or 17 at the time. Just the world he created with the words was just amazing. And I've read the book maybe 5 or 6 times since then, and always get some new layers out of it and a lot of more symbolisms in the book. Marquez is very deep, very mentally challenging author to read. But if you take the time to really understand it, it's amazing the amount of detail that's in his work.
Awesome. I love that. As a storyteller, and actually my colleagues and I were talking about this book, so how they were intrigued by reading it as well. And then I believe I saw that there is a TV show they made out of the book too. So clearly it's really inspirational. But what I'm curious about too is how the literature inspired you to compose this project, and how you're taking your interpretation of the book and now and making it into the music that we're hearing.
Yeah, so with this one, it's such a vast story. I couldn't, do everything. Otherwise, it's been like a 3 or 4 volume recording process. But I kind of just try to loosely do something chronologically based on the book, like, kind of the introduction of the civilization, Macondo's the town where the story takes place, and, within that, I try to focus on maybe characters and or events that I felt encapsulated the essence of the story and of Marquez's writings. Like, for example, there's one tune that I wrote, Remedios La Bella, where it's like this kind of very purely innocent girl who, she's doing laundry one day and then she ascends into the heavens because, she was too pure to exist on that world anymore. So, so that's one instance, but then and then as far as like maybe just trying to capture the history and the culture of Colombia, since Marquez is from Colombia, the tune El Pueblo, is the style of a vallenato, which is similar to cumbia. So, I did a lot of research to try to come up with these compositions and then place them in a loose chronological order, from beginning to end.
Awesome. I think that's very beautiful. As a storyteller myself, outside of the radio, and I teach storytelling as well, I just love that, you were inspired, took this and, created and composed a musical project through this. Tonight you're going to be at Scullers Jazz Club in Boston. And just the listeners who are listening, and tell me a little bit about the band that's going to be playing, and what people can expect to experience through the sound.
Yes, So listeners who want to come out to the show, there's still tickets available online. And then I think maybe at 4 o'clock, if I remember right, they stopped selling online at 4 on the box office. I can't remember. But either way, if that is to happen, they can still get tickets at the door. There is limited seats, so try to get your tickets ahead of time.
Absolutely.
And then the band tonight is my brother Zakai Curtis on piano, who won a Grammy last year, the same year I won my Grammy. So, we always celebrate that and enjoy that. Yeah. And then our usual bass player, Lieutenant Curtis, his brother's not with us, but we had the great Boris Kozlov on the bass today. And then not founding, but probably the oldest member besides me, obviously, in the band is drummer Wayne Smith Jr. He's from Philadelphia. I hope the Boston crowd doesn't get too mad about that, but he's a good guy. Yeah. So, he'll be on drums tonight, and it's a quartet. And then we have a special guest joining us for a couple numbers who I won't mention yet. You have to come out to the show to see who it is.
Absolutely. So 4 p.m., people can get their tickets on Scullers' website, and also at the door. Darryl, before you go, I know you're traveling. Where can listeners stay connected to your craft and upcoming projects?
Probably the best place is, besides, you can find me on social media, Darryl Yokley Music. That's my IG. And then my website is my name, DarrylYokley.com, DarrylYokley.com.
Awesome. And besides the music, I always like to ask, because we are humans, what's inspiring you outside of music lately?
What's inspiring me outside of music lately? Probably just seeing my daughter grow up, just trying to keep up with her.
Yes, that's beautiful. Raising the next generation, so important. And thanks for being a good dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Darryl, thank you so much for your time. I'm definitely excited to continue exploring your music and checking you up at Scullers tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you tonight. Thank you.
Likewise, and safe travels to you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Thank you.